pretty much what you're saying is you guys, what you're going to do is you're going to go into these nicer areas or maybe mobile home parks, and you're going to convert them. So that's basically your business now is you're converting. So you're buying the property, you're converting them, and then you're selling them at a higher price. Is that kind of what you're doing right now?
It's similar. We don't ever take ownership of the units themselves.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
So we pretty much guide people to get out of the renting into these homes, and then we convert it for them. So pretty much they take.
So you're the contractor then. You're the contractor to rebuild these mobile homes.
So in simplicity, we're kind of a broker model at first. So we help people transact and purchase and sell, and then also we help redevelop their old mobile home into a new one as well. So how do we maximize the value of their asset? Hey, they might own a mobile home that's worth 100,000 right now, but if you spend 250,000 in doubling the square footage of your home, guess what? The new appraised value of your home is now 400,000, right? And it's a lot of these wealth building techniques that are very common to a lot of the wealthy that aren't accessible to families of low income, and we're bringing that same kind of mentality around mobile homes and something that's more affordable.
So how do you navigate like the whole stigma behind mobile home, right? Because somebody hears mobile home, they're instantly, their eyes glaze over. It's not something that they want to do. How do you get somebody past that feeling of it's a mobile home park?
Yeah, and that's what I realized at the early part of our business, and I realized it from my own perspective as well. It's like we got to realize that most of what people see about most of what people think about mobile homes is only what they see in TV shows and movies and music videos. They see it as horrible quality homes for drug dealers, criminals, and that sort of thing, because that's all we get to see as a picture about mobile homes, right? But the truth of it is, you go into the communities and you realize that this isn't, how do I say this? So if you imagine apartment complexes, hey, we all understand apartments. There's some apartment buildings where you don't want your kids running around. It's not safe, but there's luxury style apartments, right? Where it's like a resort and it's beautiful. And it's that same spectrum with mobile homes. There are bad, trashy parks, but there's a full spectrum, and there's resort-like communities as well. There's mobile home parks with tennis courts, with swimming pools, gyms, saunas, spas, right? And they all shouldn't be written off as one complete bad asset class. And that's really our agenda, is to try to show people that this is a beautiful thing. We work a lot with the government of how do we beautify this to show the world that this is a perfect thing for society that we have to protect and we have to we have to support. But main thing is all perspective, and it's all how we see things. And I guess the first thing is when we realize that our only way to prove that is through video, because guess what? All these stigmas, we're not, we could talk about it on the podcast all day, but until we actually see it, we're not going to believe it. So that's why our YouTube channel really kicked off with community tours, with home tours, with how these homes are built in factories. How they're built in factories is such a beautiful thing right now too, and it's really going to shape the world of housing in the near future. And it's really only until the past few years that mobile home building and mobile homes have really been a huge attention piece for real estate.
And you're really attracting a lot of millennials. You talk a lot about millennials, and so this is kind of a guide for millennials. And is this what you see as the future? I mean, do you see the future of America becoming, a place where we're going to see more and more mobile home parks, or maybe, more established, more luxurious mobile home parks in the future? Is that what you see?
So what's fascinating about this is that we don't really realize how many mobile home communities there are in our country. It's already existing infrastructure that's already there. In Newport Beach, there's communities there. We built a home in Malibu, and all throughout the country, there's mobile home parks, so many parks that were built in the 70s that's already there. Now it's already existing inventory, which allows for us to build it much better. And it was only in the last few years that entities are starting to use mobile home parks, build and open mobile home parks to fast build housing in many of these fast growing areas. And I want to say this problem that we're having in construction as well. Construction is of building new housing has been built how it's been built in the past 100 years the same, right? We go on site, we build construction. It's getting more and more difficult to find skilled labor. Material costs are getting more expensive. Permitting is getting more and more difficult. And and if you think about cars were only built for the rich and wealthy before, and it was only until we built them on an assembly line in a streamlined fashion that we got cars available for everybody. And that's exactly what we're doing right now with mobile homes. We're building these homes in a factory, in a streamlined assembly line, and we're maximizing the output of all the skilled labor, using machines, using tools to be able to build these homes at a very quality level. And in the end, we have a very high quality, affordable home that a low income family can afford. And that's how we have to change housing. For some weird reason, we still are doing it the old fashioned way, having trucks drive the labor all the way to a different location, tons of material waste. We have to change how that's done, or we have to have much better options on how we're going to build housing if we want to protect that.
And so, I mean, when you're talking about technology, I mean, this is like, I mean, obviously technology is, we're growing into the tech age of the world. I mean, is this really changing the game? I mean, for the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the production of how we're able to build homes, for me, if I wanted to build, and I've done this, is building a single family home could take about 18 months on an average. We just did a conversion and broke our record of a conversion of an old mobile home to a new one. And we broke our record and completed from start to finish in 2.5 months. We built a completely 1,800 square foot home, very high quality, and it's ready to move in, in 2.5 months, where a single family home, the same exact square footage, would take 18 months with much higher cost. So, that's how we're currently going to be, it is one solution that's very underrated, if you ask me.
And like zoning laws, I mean, permitting, things like that. Is it kind of the same with mobile homes with versus traditional, or is it different? And how is the government, you were saying something about the government is kind of helping you, or is this like, is there initiatives or are there programs right now that the government is helping this process move forward? They believe in it too? Hit on that.
Yeah. So a lot of the government support and lobbying is really gearing towards this lately. But the main thing is so there's a few questions you asked on the permitting and that sort of thing, right? So we do a lot of private property as well. On that, the permitting and stuff has always been very difficult, but it's starting to become easier because it's more understood. But the key thing is why I love the entities inside these mobile home parks is that because it's actually not tied to the land, there's less permitting that's involved. So with that, part of why it takes me 18 months to build a whole home is because the government wants to be very involved, because it's permanent foundation. They want to see everything, every little thing at every step of the phase. And sometimes we're paying $7,000 just for a piece of paper to get approved, right? And a lot of these steps for government permits are just causing a slowdown for how we build housing. But if we talk about mobile home parks in these communities, there's much less regulation of how these are built, and which allows for us to be able to build more affordable housing at a faster rate and quality housing in very expensive areas.
If you like this video and you would like to watch another clip, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.